I was down in the tasting room and went upstairs to where my office was. As soon as I closed the door, I just heard this train sound coming at the building. Opened the door that I'd just come in, and there's no roof. I'm starting to go numb and grab the dog, and we head back to the office, and I look out the window and the beer garden is gone.
I get a picture on my phone from Rob, and it's our brewery with no roof, and it was just devastating. I mean, I just kind of didn't know what to think. I just kind of broke down. Seeing that and realizing that there had been so many people in here at the time, it was unbelievable that nobody had been seriously hurt. I was managing the audio publishing department at CNIB, which was in my wheelhouse because I had spent 8 years freelancing as an audiobook producer. But the commute was starting to really wear me down after a long time. And, meanwhile, Rob was, getting worn down from the traveling and the grind of the work.
When I worked as a cinematographer, it was like the dream life. It was a tough career because things always changed. I think all the people that were working with me in my age were all experiencing the same thing. They just weren't getting the calls anymore that they were used to getting because the younger guys are coming in, charging less money. Gonna have to do something to get out of this because it's just not gonna, I'm just not gonna be able to make a living at it anymore.
Was a big part of our lives. I did grow up in Montreal, and there was already a craft brewery scene burgeoning in the late 80s. I was kind of right in trying amazing beers from the start.
Both of us were really kind of into it. We gave up on big beer.
Got really into lovely stouts and porters, and we started occasionally driving down to Vermont to ski with our kids and started to see, wow, every little small town in the United States has a craft brewery now, and they're doing great. And we thought, Uxbridge could really use a craft brewery.
And Joanne literally just said that to me when I was sitting on the couch, and I was like, yeah, that would be great.
It was a bit of a joke, but when I started looking into it, this actually could work, and it was just that kind of, it just literally snowballed.
The biggest roadblock was money.
So we were set up with a Canada Small Business Financing loan on the condition that we were able to pull together more financing. So we had to match the loan.
With the Uxbridge being such a small town and a tight-knit community, we figured the best way to reach people would be through the local papers.
We had written a press release for our local paper saying the second Wedge is looking for local investors. So it was a bit of a crapshoot. However, we got a lot of interest. And then we ended up with 3 offers, and we were able to choose the one that was best for us.
So our partners who are on board now say, well, there's this building over here. We weren't sure that it was doable. And so they said, well, let us look at it. And we all came over and said, this building would be perfect. It was pretty run down. It'll work, but this is going to take a lot of work. Because I worked on a renovation show, I knew a lot of construction people, and some of them became my friends.
And they came and lived at our house, during the week. And we had dinner together every night, and they put out cushions on the floor kind of thing to sleep on. And then they just, did this giant project.
I lost 30 pounds, and my muscles just ached every day. I was breaking concrete, digging down 4 feet to get to the main drain. Just having people we know build it made it more personal and more like it was our project, it was our baby kind of thing.
The early days were just incredibly satisfying in a very surprising way. We knew that we had something great to offer, but what we didn't realize was what the community was going to offer back to us, and that was the biggest, most lovely surprise. We really didn't realize that this was going to be the community gathering space that it turned out to be.
A lot of it happened because we started learning more about Uxbridge.
There was so much going on that we didn't realize was there and so rich. The music scene was so vibrant, and we were just, all we had to do was go, oh, hey, would you like to come play? And then suddenly, boom, we were like tapped in.
And then we started connecting with artists and the community, and every 6 weeks we're changing new art.
When we first came to the space, Rob had looked at the parking lot on the south end and said,
wouldn't it be cool if the farmers market could open up in our parking lot?
We were able to offer a home that they have told us really contributed to their revitalization.
I think it was the first year they won Best Farmers Market in Ontario. So it's been vibrant and growing ever since.
People from one group, they started to mingle with the other, and then it just literally became a community hub, not because of something that we were doing. They just came in and shaped everything about this place in ways that we didn't expect. And we were finally getting to a place where things were going to get comfortable for us. So we were really looking forward to 2020. And then, yes, COVID happened.
COVID hit, and it hit us hard. It was like a numbing experience that you just didn't know where things were going to go.
Yeah, we went from feeling really confident about what was to come to suddenly everything kind of screeching to a halt.
We came back to the idea of community again, and we quickly set up an online store. We created something that one of our customers called the beer slide, where we
slid them down the conveyor belt to the cars that drove up. It was kind of hilarious.
We wanted to keep the music community thing going, so we created Behind the Glass. We did a number of shows like that were free for people. They could just log in, and it became a lot of fun.
I think, it really did show us how well we worked together as a couple, because for those few weeks when none of the staff were here, they were all on layoff, we just kind of rolled with it. We had a sense of humor about it. I don't think we've ever laughed so much in that sort of maniacal, anxiety just riddled way, but it was a good preparation for what was to come, maybe. During COVID, Rob was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
The numbers were pretty high, so they're like, you need to have surgery right away or radiation. You got to make a decision. So we decided to do the surgery.
And we were like, okay, let's hope that does the trick. And then boom, this tornado happens.
And it was just devastating to come in here and say, we built this place, and in an instant, it's gone.
I was out of town, but it was just a crazy, stressful time, stressful evening. I just totally beside myself. It was very hard talking to Rob, who was by himself, with friends, but basically by himself, coping with all of this, and just it was so hard to hear him going through this. So the first thing in the morning, my daughter and I got in the car and came back into town. It was like time froze in the middle of a normal Saturday afternoon, and then this crazy, crazy disaster happened.
I knew we would open again. There was no question that we would not.
The feeling of losing our connection to our community was so hard to cope with, and all we wanted to do was get back to that. And I don't think it was ever a question.
One of our friends from the bookstore in town heard that the brewery was hit really hard. She closed the bookstore, locked it up, and came over here and just started helping. People just started helping pick things up and clean things up. I don't know. It was just an instinct for everybody to just start tidying things, like moving tables in the beer garden and the broken bike racks.
And without the support of the community who also felt that this place was ours, this place was theirs, this was the Second Wedge, and the Second Wedge belonged to Uxbridge, we probably wouldn't have had nearly as easy a path getting back to where we were. We probably would have been fighting much harder. Yeah, that's when we realized that we weren't just here to offer something out, but that we were being given this beautiful gift back from the community. When we realized that we could rebuild, we did have an opportunity to build it in any way we wanted because it was completely gutted. But what did we do? We mostly made it look exactly the same because we really wanted it to feel, when you walked in, that you were still in that place that you knew and loved.
This has been the most incredible experience. Joanna and I work so well together.
One of the best things that came out of it was just being able to work side by side with Rob.
There has not been one day that this brewery has inflicted any pain or division between us. We always come together.
I love my husband a whole lot, and I think our relationship is getting stronger through all of this, so that really does pull you through your darkest moments.
We have an amazing relationship, and I totally respect her as the talent that she has to run this business.
I think we do a very good job of helping each other out of the rough spots and remembering what it is that we're doing is what we love, and remembering that feeling of joy that we get being here every day, and what we've built means something to people. That kind of gets you out of a lot of dark spots.
I think it's just the passion we have for this place and what it gives back to us. I don't want to give it up. So whatever I'm going through personally, you just have to deal with it and just continue on, because I want to keep doing this. I don't want to give up on this.
I love being a community touch point, and I couldn't imagine being on the periphery. I love to be in the thick of it, and I love the people. It's so rewarding. Somehow or other, we've landed in this beautiful space, and it's exactly what I need to, make my heart full of joy. It's exactly it. Gosh, yeah, it is wonderful to see so many different parts of the community come for different reasons.
You see all these people coming to the market. They'll come in here, and it just creates this very lively day. For the next 5 years, I want to grow this and hit the numbers that we wanted to be back then, when we were really, everything shut us down.
This summer, we're so excited to be adding a kitchen.
Steve is an amazing chef, so it's going to be interesting and fun to now not just serve food and serve beer, but to bring them together, and what does it mean to have a beer and his food. When Joanne said, let's open a brewery, and I'm like, yeah, literally from that day, the passion has not gone away. It hasn't changed.
Getting to know the cyclists, getting to know the artist community and the music community. And there's just so many little subcultures, but they're all tied together. It was a lovely surprise.
It's been so overwhelmingly positive, even through all the negative stuff that's happened that had nothing to do with the brewery. It's been so positive to run and engage with people in this place. Like, it's the best thing I've ever done.